Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it, like we were evolved to do. Cantharellus, or should I say Chanterelles, I think. I never really liked saying that word, so I'll just call it Cantharellus in Norwegian. Although they grow more commonly in the north of Europe, they are one of the most common edible mushrooms found in the west at least. There are definitely different variations of them that can probably be found in your regular grocery stores all over Europe, North America, and even Asia and South America. They tend to grow in the wild in mossy forests, also found in like mountainy regions with a lot of birch trees, and also among grasses and low-growing herbs. And as usual, like most other mushrooms, they grow best in a relatively dark and damp environment. So they are in top season in most places in the world in the fall, right about now. Also, chanterelles, like most other mushrooms, they aren't recorded in the human diet until relatively recently in history. You see, mushrooms and other forms of fungi are some of the oldest types of life on this planet, but they were one of the latest foods cultivated by humans. The chanterelle, like a lot of other mushrooms, were first being regularly cultivated in France in the 1700s, and then they spread throughout Europe and North America and the rest of the world as French cuisine spread. Of course, humans all over ate these mushrooms long before then, before the 1700s. They would have just had to forage it. And remember, most of these cookbooks and recipes from the Victorian age and, you know, the Industrial Revolution, things like that, they would have been written by upper class nobles who were honestly too fancy to go out in the deep, damp, muddy woods to forage some mushrooms. So this would have been a peasant thing, but the peasants and farmers, and really any average person, general human being, if we go far enough back in history, that was most of what they spent their day doing. They were out foraging. So of course, the chanterelle is in our ancestral diet for most of you watching where you come from. Most places in the world would have had access to this type of mushrooms, or at least one of the different types of these, like you see here. And you can bet that they would have used them because they are very valuable in nutrition, especially vitamin D, and also the B vitamins and iron and other nutrients that are not found in other plant foods. And that's why I always say, guys, if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, it is so good and so important to eat a good amount of mushrooms. Even for when I go vegetarian for a couple weeks in the spring, I make sure to up the mushrooms like crazy. But everyone should be eating these too, not just the vegans and vegetarians, especially now in the fall when they are in top season. They are not the easiest mushroom to find in stores though, and they can be a bit pricey pound for pound in comparison to the other mushrooms. But if you know what you're looking for and you live in the right environment, you can find kilos and kilos of these, probably very close to the forest near you. But always seek the help, guys, of an expert when you are foraging anything, first of all, but even more so with the mushrooms, because many of them can be deadly. But if you do know what you're doing, you find the right ones, they can be a very valuable wild sourced food that our ancestors would have eaten, and especially a lot of now in the fall, and even more so, they would have dried them and used them throughout the winter when there was not much other food growing around. And chanterelles are actually some of the easiest mushrooms to dry and preserve. They have a very high content of water, so that makes them very easy to dry with the various methods that I've spoke about in other videos. So yeah, that's about it. Let us know, is there any near you guys? Where do you live? Where are you from? Any that you forage nearby? Any favorite recipes that you'd like to use these in? Let us all know.